the biggest crypto hacks of all time took place. Approximately $270 million worth of crypto was stolen from the Solana network due to the drift protocol. We're going to talk about exactly what this means for Solana and for crypto moving forward. But the drift token saw a 30% decline immediately upon the announcement of this attack, but nearly $270 million approximately was stolen. And you couple that with what is going on with the United States and Iran and the president's remarks yesterday, oil surged to over $110 a barrel this morning. And the effects of that are being felt across the entire market. The S&P dropped, the overall stock market plummeted this morning, as well as stock markets across the world, not just our economy. However, since then, we've seen a full recovery, at least in the S&P 500. Bitcoin's recovered to 67,000, and right now, XRP is sitting at, let's see here, right now, XRP is back to $1.30 after getting as low as $1.28. So we are seeing a recovery from these remarks, but let's take a look at what happened and why so we can understand what it means going forward, because there are implications for the entire crypto market that are going to come from this cyber attack. We have to be honest with that. This is going to affect more than just Solana and the drift protocol. This is going to affect the entire crypto landscape. But once we get through that, we do have, of course, more positive news for XRP and Canton Network. So without further ado, hit the like button to help grow the stream, because I'm sorry, guys, engagement is the only thing that gets this out to more people. So if you guys want to help get this information out to more people, hit the like button, engage in the chat. We will do the live Q&A as soon as we get through all the information. Excuse me. But as promised, we will start with the meat of today's stream, for that matter. Drift Protocol Exploiter has accumulated 38.8k ETH, valued at approximately 82.7 million. That was 20 hours ago. Here, Drift Protocol confirms that today's $270 million drainage is not an April Fool's Day joke. Drift Protocol potentially exploited for over 200 million. And then it says right here, the Drift Protocol Exploiter is swapping $270 million worth of stolen assets into USDC, then bridging to the Ethereum network to buy ETH. So $270 million stolen through the Drift Protocol on Solana, bridge to Ethereum to cash out for ETH and disappear. That's how that took place. Now, it went on to say that this was not any kind of issue with the smart contracts or with any of the protocols actually in the blockchain, but it was due to a basically social hack. They got someone's information and got into it, and that resulted in a $270 million worth of stolen assets from Solana. Now, my first thought, honestly, was a petty one. My first response was like, huh, and I did a post on X, but I was like, huh, I wonder why people would prefer the privacy layer of Canton over Solana and Ethereum. And from the surface level, yeah, I mean, that's going to be an easy statement. I mean, it's kind of a cheap shot on my part to say that, because when you really think about it, people, the broader view of people, the broader view of investors are not going to think, oh, Solana's protocol is bad. They're going to think, oh, crypto is not safe. It's still all going to get lumped into crypto. So an event like this happening anywhere in the crypto space is going to be received across crypto. That's not a good look for crypto. Even though it is isolated to the Drift Protocol and Solana, it's still not good for crypto. So that did happen. Not good. 270 million. I hope no one in here was affected. I don't think anyone in my stream uses the Drift Protocol or Solana. But this is why DeFi is still risky, ladies and gentlemen. Things can happen. Now, on to the good news. The good news just keeps on coming for Canton. US Bank, the 5th largest bank in the US by assets, are currently applying for a validator node on the Canton Network. They just keep coming. So another major US bank is becoming a validator on the Canton. They're on the Canton Network. They are applying. This is not official yet, but we will see this in the future. EDX Markets, who is a Canton Validator, applies for U.S. Trust Bank Charter. The Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab-backed crypto exchange is seeking OCC approval to expand institutional custody and settlement service. Again, EDX is a validator on Canton. Citadel is an investor in digital asset. This is bullish for Canton Network. Ripple just got their global credit rating agency Kroll. Okay, excuse me. This just in. Global credit rating agency Kroll has assigned Ripple Prime an investment grade issuer rating, BBB, reflecting the financial strength, business expansion, and disciplined execution of our growing prime brokerage platform. Built at the intersection of traditional and digital asset capabilities, Ripple Prime is meeting the demand for trusted, well-capitalized prime brokerage services. With this rating, the market is taking notice. So again, Ripple Prime expanding. We just spoke the other day about the new Ripple Prime dashboard and Ripple Prime expanding into oil, gold, and silver futures via Hyperliquid. They're plugging in everywhere. You guys starting to see how quick all this stuff is ramping up in 2026. I feel like more has happened in the last 3 months than's happened in the last 2 years for some of these blockchains. BitGet Wallet, we just spoke about yesterday, launching on the XRPL, native to the XRPL for payments and things like that. Well, let's see what they came out with this morning. It says, we are the first crypto wallet to ship QR payments across the Asia Pacific. Pay with crypto directly, USDT or USDC. Pay with local currency. No conversion headaches. Just scan and pay. From now till April 22nd, get cash back for every successful QR payment. So you are now able to pay via XRPL anywhere across the Asia Pacific using your BitGet wallet. Again, we're going to see this again. A lot of people, when it came to debit cards and credit cards, and then they went tap to pay, and then they started having all the apps on the phone to pay, they've been programming us for this, okay? Eventually, everything's going to run through the phone. Everything's going to be digital. It's all going to be crypto. People just won't know it, right? So it's all going to be crypto. And I just lost my train of thought. So it's all going to be crypto, and we're all getting used to paying with our phones. I swear in our lifetime, they might end up putting a chip in our hand because we're all so programmed to do this with our phone. We'll end up just putting our hand over something to pay it. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes up in the next 30 to 40 years. The CME Group reports 19% rise in crypto trading volume, hitting an $8 billion a day daily average in March. Seems like crypto trading is starting to come back. I would love to see it reflected in price for the various cryptos, but it does look like it is starting to come back now. Latest news, the U.S. Treasury has opened a 60-day public comment period on how state stablecoin rules would be applied under the Genius Act. This probably doesn't pertain to many of you, but an update for you that the open day public or the 60-day public comment period is now open for stablecoins. This morning, U.S. initial jobless claims came out. Actual was 202 versus the expected 212. So again, jobs came in better than expected for the second consecutive month. This does not do well for rate cuts, which we weren't expecting rate cuts anyway. However, this could push the needle for a potential rate hike down the future. Again, we don't hope that doesn't happen. That's going to hurt the stock market. We do not want rate hikes, but we are battling inflation right now. The IMF, the International Money, whatever, monetary something. It's the International Monetary Forum, maybe? I can't remember what they exactly stand for, but they handle the world's money supply, essentially. Says tokenization is reshaping regulated finance by moving assets onto programmable ledgers, delivering efficiency gains, but requiring strong policy and trust anchors to protect stability. Read our new IMF note in this issue. I did read the note. They talked about they were talking more about private ledgers than they were anything else, permissioned ledgers. There was no discussion of public blockchains in this note. I suggest you go ahead and read it. You can follow me on X. It's at Longview Crypto, but I did retweet that out as well. Long View Crypto, not Long View Compute on X. It's Long View Crypto. And the last thing I have for you guys today, as far as news-wise, so make sure you get your thoughts, comments, questions in so we have stuff to talk about here in a minute, and we'll do a recap. Actually, I don't have another thing. That was the last thing. This was just an empty homepage. And again, you guys can follow me on X, Longview Crypto. You can engage with me there throughout the day. And again, CC right now took a hit. It's still hovering down around 14 cents. But again, everything took a hit today. I actually tweeted it out yesterday as soon as I saw Trump's remarks. Let me put it up here. See if I can go to my tweets. But as soon as I saw Trump's remarks, I put it out there. Let me scroll through all my bookmarks. Oh, those are all my retweets. And find my tweet. Was this it? No. Here it is. This is what I put out last night before I went to bed after watching Trump's remarks. As I clutch your CC tomorrow at 8:30, the mayhem begins. I knew it was going to go down just based on how that conversation went. Macroeconomics, the entire crypto market's going to follow the rest of the economy. It's just how it goes until things decouple otherwise, right? So let's hop into the chat, everybody. Let's see how everyone is doing today. Let me pull everything up here. That's all the news I have for the moment. We'll do a recap for anyone who came in late here in just a second so I can get everyone caught up on the news. Does CC hit a 40 billion market cap by end of 2026? $1.04 CC. Again, not financial advice, and thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Just so you guys know, any money the channel earns goes back to promoting the channel and growing the community. Okay? So I'm just letting you guys know that. I do appreciate it. You're helping grow the channel. I appreciate you. Motorbike Mike. And yes, I do believe that. Again, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I do believe that it will be over $1 because I believe it's going to be a top 5 token this year. Top 10 worst case scenario. And if it were to be a top 5 token, that would be over a 40 billion market cap. So I do believe it absolutely has that potential this year, especially once the subnets get turned on and the private burns get turned on. Again, we're waiting for that to happen. And I'm learning a whole lot more about the burning and the mint schedule because I'm actually working on developing an app. I'm actually working on developing an app on the Canton Network. I tweeted that out yesterday if you guys follow me on X, but I am actively working on developing an app for the Canton Network. It'll be free to go in and use it, and it'll have like little prediction games that are tied to the streams, and just by participating in it, you'll be able to earn Canton rewards. It won't cost you anything. You won't have to give any private information, but it'll be something fun that's tied to the stream that will allow you to earn Canton as rewards. So my goal is to help my viewers, to reward my viewers just for watching and engaging in the app, just for watching the stream and engaging in the app. They get free crypto. I thought that was pretty cool. And it doesn't cost anyone anything. That's what I'm trying to build right now for you all. Daniel Green in the house today. He was first in here. Hello, Daniel. Good morning, Longview crew. Gunpowder in the house. Raul made it in here today. Come on, everybody smash the like button, man. I appreciate that, Daniel. I'm trying. It's really hard, actually, to come up with fresh content every single day. Believe it or not, coming up with an hour of crypto content to talk about every single day is not easy. You can, especially when you're looking at the news and there's no new news and nothing's coming up, you're just like, shit, what the hell am I going to talk about? So yeah, it can get difficult sometimes. But I am trying to grow the channel. I am trying to grow the community. I have successfully recruited someone. I am going to be bringing someone on the channel soon to do a dual stream with me, and I'll be joining his channel as well. So look out for that. JW said, great info. I'm glad you get some value of it. Hit the like button if you get some value. I appreciate that. Daniel Green says, because Canton was a fair launch, not like Solana and Ethereum, that a fair launch, it was an open fair launch. That's right. So when you hear people use terms like fair launch means everyone had the ability to get the tokens. It started out with a certain amount of tokens and no one held a certain amount. There wasn't a pre-sale. There wasn't, like, the team didn't keep any. right? A lot of times the team will keep about 18% of the tokens in their own bag. That didn't happen with the Canton Network. Um, every single token was earned through utility. Whether you think it's permissionless or not, based on the way they do the validators, that's an ideological debate. But there is no ideology behind the fact that every single Canton was earned by utility. That is a fact. No one seems to be able to answer this. XRP utility is just a gas token with low fees, low burn rates. While millions are moved, the XRP coin doesn't gain any value. Explain to me how it does. This is the argument with XRP and XRP's utility. It is designed to be a liquidity bridge. So its value is determined by its scarcity and by who holds it and by how many people hold it, that's why there's been so much discussion about a supply shock, forcing it to go to the value they needed to provide institutional grade liquidity. Because the biggest thing with liquidity isn't necessarily having okay. I think a lot of people, let's talk about some basics here as we're discussing this. First, let's talk about liquidity. I'm gonna bring this down as low as I can so I understand I'm not gonna get all the technicals correct, okay? Don't shoot me. I understand that technically this may be inaccurate, but generally the concept is accurate. So basically, XRP needs to act as a liquidity bridge. In order for it to be a liquidity bridge, as far as institutional grade liquidity, it comes down to the slippage, how stable that price is. Now, the lower the price, the higher the amount of slippage, right? So at a price of about $50 per XRP, the slippage at that point is around 1 to 3% mathematically. I've seen this breakdown before. This is where I'm pulling these numbers from, but I don't have the source off the top of my head. So in order to get the slippage down to less than 1% or less than 0.5% optimally, the price of XRP would have to be roughly $1,000 to get it underneath that slippage percentage point so that companies are not losing value when swapping out liquidity, right? So really the value of XRP determines how much slippage happens when it's bridged back and forth, because there's more tokens, more volatility, more rooms for things to happen. So how does the price of XRP go up? It was not meant to be a gas token. The fees every single time, I believe it's 0.00012 or zeros. It's either 3 zeros or 4 zeros, 1, 2. That is the fee that's burned in XRP every single transaction. That burn fee is not going to increase the price of XRP in our lifetime or even the lifetime after us, probably. So the theory behind the value of XRP going up in price was a simple supply and demand dynamic. And then once it was being utilized for liquidity purposes, the use of it would maintain that price for liquidity. That is the theory of how XRP is going to appreciate in price, is that it needs to be a higher price in order to constitute liquidity, and the more it's used as liquidity, the more it stabilizes that price. That's how it's been explained to me that it will increase. When institutions don't buy XRP from on-chain markets, but OTC deals, dark pools, well, eventually that's still, even if they're buying it OTC or even if they're buying it dark pool, because remember, ETF money market makers, they buy everything OTC and dark pools as well. It still constricts the supply. It still locks up XRP and removes it from supply, which means less circulating supply of XRP, supply and demand, price goes up. Again, this is all stuff that's going to take place over the next 5 to 10 years, not necessarily what's going to happen today, tomorrow, or next week. And again, that's why I never thought the whole flip of the switch thing was going to happen and price was just going to magically shoot up overnight. That was never my thought process. Dustin Wright. So basically is almost nothing on Canton is interacting with CC. No, that's not true. everything that's going on the mainnet does interact with CC. And remember, the only thing that's going to burn CC is USD transactions. USD transactions are the only thing that burn CC. So for instance, like anything coming from Ethereum via like an EVM sidechain that pays in Ethereum, that's not going to burn CC. So it's the transactions that use US dollars that are going to burn CC on the main net, but they are putting in, they are going to start moving the burn to the private net this year. They've been discussing it. You've all started talking about it a couple months ago. So that is in the works. They're working through it with the governance layer of Canton. But they are going to be turning on the burn on the private net. And they're actually, I saw a document on how they were trying to formulate the burn based on utility. So basically, the people who bring more utility to the network are going to get a discount on their burn rate, which is fine by me. You know, if you're driving utility and you're building the network, you should get a discount. But that's what they're looking at right now. Todd Madison in the house today. Welcome, Todd. Welcome. I will never put a chip in my hand. I will never put a chip in my hand. Okay. Happy birthday to Raul. I don't know what you're talking about there, Todd. I don't know when you're talking about putting a chip in your hand. Good evening, R Angel. Welcome, welcome. Fishing Man in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeshua says no new news. You know what I mean. Yeah, no new news on the Clarity Act yet. They moved the markup back to the end of April now, was the only news that we got to this point that I saw, that the markup got moved from next week to the end of April. So the Senate GOP markup is now supposed to be done at the end of April. At this point, you're betting on the price of XRP to go up only if they reprice the coin to a higher value without on-chain market buying demand. How would that be possible? Well, okay, so XRP is designed to be the liquidity bridge. They're also rolling out new use cases with DeFi and lending and other protocols. Again, I am investing based on what I think is going to be a key factor institutionally moving forward in the infrastructure of digital finance. So I can see how XRP is plugged into Ripple for the use of digital finance. Now, granted, their tokenomics are not as clear as some others, but they have released information on how XRP is at the center of what they do. So it's at the center of DeFi. It is their default liquidity bridge. They've announced all of these things. Institutions will use it. And again, remember, we still don't even have the Clarity Act yet, people. They just did their first ZK proof transaction with XRP yesterday, right? We are still very, very, very early in this. Again, this is like 1996 to 1999 internet era, right? Where in the grand scheme of crypto, we still have decades to go, right? 2-Bit Crypto, what's up, man? I'm glad you could make the stream. Big news with XRP. I thought so too. They're getting the Kroll certificate, or the Kroll from the Better Bit. What was it? Let me pull it back up here. Recap for anyone who came in late. That's an excellent way to do it, 2-Bit. 2-Bit Crypto, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I popped in on his stream the other day. He is another crypto streamer and another crypto YouTuber, and he does excellent chart breakdowns, much better technical analysis than mine. That is for sure. I bugged him enough. He agreed. We are going to do a dual stream here soon. I'm not sure which channel, his channel, my channel, both of our channels. You never know. But I do think that like my narrative and news and talking through these things mixed with 2-Bit's chart analysis is going to provide an excellent value for you guys. I think it's two different ways of looking at, I think he and I both have a similar vision for the long view of crypto, but two completely different ways of looking at it, which I think will help. All right, so let's do a recap of everything that we did for everyone who came in late. I will blow through it really quickly here so we can get back into the chat and the live Q&A and the hangout. Let me pull up the right screen here. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. We want this one. So, price down today. We had a pullback. Why did we have a pullback? Because Trump was running his mouth yesterday. Oil shot up to $111 a barrel, and everything tanked this morning, as well as multiple countries, not just our country, their stock markets tanked at open as well. So it's not just us, but we can see oil now is up to 111. It spiked as high as $114. It had a little sell-off, but it is recovering back up right now. Bitcoin still hanging out right around 67,000. So given all of the nonsense, really, crypto's hanging up pretty well. I mean, it's just been a lot of chop really since this whole Iran excursion, operation, whatever you want to call it, conflict. But the S&P 500 sold off this morning and then bounced back dramatically. This is AMD. This isn't the S&P 500. We were looking at AMD yesterday talking about scalp trading. So that's why that was pulled up. But gold sold off a little bit, but it's kind of chopping now. So really, all things considered, we had some big moves, but really it all balanced out. It was a whole lot of nothing. Canton's hanging around 14 cents still. Haven't really checked the activity on the ledger recently for XRP ledger. We can get back to that, but the main story today was actually what happened yesterday, was the hack of the Drift protocol, equating for more than $270 million of stolen assets. This was a social hack. They got login information from a higher up somehow that they shouldn't have, and it got granted access to the system, and they drained over $270 million of assets off of Solana and bridged them over to Ethereum, switched them out for ETH via USDC, and disappeared into the night with about $270 million worth of stolen assets. It's crazy. And it was reported, it was not an April Fool's joke. This was happening. And again, this is a really, really bad look for Solana. Honestly, given the state of crypto right now and how much heat DeFi was already under to begin with the Clarity Act, I really don't know if Solana will survive this. And this is not good for crypto in general. In the sense that right now, crypto is all just lumped into one thing. And in regards to the general public of the world out there, we're all crypto. So this is just driving the narrative that crypto isn't safe. And that's not good for any of us. So as far as the Canton Network, we did have the announcement that the U.S. bank, the 5th largest bank in the U.S., are currently applying to become a validator on the Canton Network. They are not a validator. They are not applying to be a super validator, but they are applying to be a validator. As well as EDX Markets applies for its U.S. Trust Bank charter. Again, EDX is backed by Citadel, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. These are also banks and investment companies that are invested in Digital Asset, the company behind Canton Network. Follow the money. The money shows you where to go, ladies and gentlemen. Ripple. This just in, global credit rating agency Kroll has assigned Ripple Prime an investment grade issuer rating, reflecting the financial strength, business expansion, and disciplined execution of our growing prime brokerage platform. Built at the intersection of traditional and digital asset capabilities, Ripple Prime is meeting the demand for trusted, well-capitalized prime brokerage services with this rating. This rating coming the same day they announced the Ripple Prime platform that they rolled out for institutions. I don't know if you guys saw that dashboard yesterday. They're really laying out the user experience. We heard David Schwartz talk about it in XRP Australia or Ripple Australia. Or Sydney, Ripple Sydney, whatever they call it. But there is going to be a heavy focus on the user experience. And they're going to develop that. And then once they get the institutions on, once they get the user experience down, once they get the foundation and security of everything done, then it's going to roll out to retail on the back end. And the general public will not even know they're using blockchain or crypto technology. We can see it playing out already. So breaking news, BitGet Wallet. We announced yesterday that BitGet is live fully natively on the XRP ledger. BitGet Wallet today says, breaking, we are the first crypto wallet to ship QR payments across the Asia Pacific. Pay with crypto directly, USDT or USDC, pay with local currency. No conversion headaches, just scan and pay. Think about traveling abroad, no longer having to worry about switching currency, no longer having to worry about if your card is going to be accepted. You'll be able to just go on your phone, scan a QR code, pay with crypto. All the conversion is done for you automatically behind the scenes. That's going to be the retail version of crypto. Everything is going to be converted behind the scenes. Just like we were talking about, payments are really ramping up in crypto. Again, I'm still waiting on the Clarity Act to go through and we find out exactly what's going to happen with banks, stable coins, tokenized deposits before I really jump in on anything that's retail oriented as far as crypto payments, because I want to see what's going to happen with that before I start investing heavily. Still focusing on institutions, at least for me. And again, not financial advice. You should always do your own research. The CME Group reports a 19% rise in crypto trading volume, hitting nearly $8 billion with a daily average in March. We are starting to see a lot more movement in crypto trading. Again, that's going to bring volume to the trades. Hopefully, we can start seeing an increase in buy pressure and buying, not so much an increase in selling volume like we've seen for the last several months. The U.S. Treasury has opened the 60-day public comment period on how state stablecoin rules would be applied under the Genius Act. Some of you care, some of you don't. If you want to go make your comment at your state level, you certainly can do so now. I just want to keep you guys aware of what you can do in crypto. Initial jobless claims are out, 202,000. The forecast was 212 versus the expected 211. This is the second consecutive month we have beat employment expectations. Again, inflation is rising, but this is not going to help the odds of a rate cut. If anything, this could help the odds of a rate hike, which would not be good. And last but not least, the IMF. We'll just leave it at that. It's the IMF. Tokenization is reshaping regulated finance by moving assets onto programmable ledgers, delivering efficiency gains, but requiring strong policy and trust anchors to protect stability. Read over our new IMF note on the issue. And I read over it. Honestly, the biggest key takeaway, they're talking about private permissioned ledgers. They are not talking about public blockchains. I suggest you go in and read the note if you would like. You can pull it off of Longview Crypto. I did retweet it out there for you. All right, back to the chat. Hopefully you guys built it back up again, so we got some time. I'm only at what, like 35 minutes right now? So with that, the time is yours, ladies and gentlemen. Yeshua is king. He's talking about Mark of the Beast. I don't know who's talking about Mark of the Beast. Happy birthday, Scott. Wishing you all the best. XRP to 1K at least. I hope it goes to 1K, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you, our angel. Chip in your hand comment. You mentioned earlier that someday we will all have chips in our hands to pay. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to try to do that, and it'll be like some kind of security-based measure or something like that. I could totally see something like that happening. Does a ring count or a ring? Yeah, I mean, we've already got that, right? I've already got my ring right here. Oh, I don't have the right thing pulled up. My bad. Yeah, I already got my ring right here, right? My Tangem ring. I love my Tangem wallet, especially now that they have the Tangem Pay available. It just makes it so much easier for me to pay my credit card because most of you know I don't carry a lot of cash anymore. Pretty much all my assets are out of the banking system completely. I pay with my credit card, and then I use crypto now to pay off my credit card at the end of every month. Have you seen Zebek have made a partnership with Stellar? Yes, I did. I actually saw that partnership. That was like a couple weeks ago, I think. We actually did report on it in the stream. And that's the really hard thing, is that I'm pretty up to date with all of the news, either the day of or the day after. I pretty much talk about it, especially if it interacts somehow with one of my 5 pillars, whether that be XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, or Ondo. Neen Chang, good afternoon. That's a new name. Where are you from and what is your favorite crypto? If you guys are new to the stream too, that's always what I ask. Where are you from and what is your favorite crypto? This channel is about the long view. This channel is about what crypto is going to be over the next 5 to 10 years, as opposed to what it's going to be over the next 5 to 10 weeks. And this channel specifically is about building a community around that mindset, about getting out of the pump and dump schemes, out of the hype and out of the hopium, and developing processes that can actually build real wealth. Because wealth is a mindset, it is not a number. That's why most people who win the lottery end up broke again, because they have a broke mindset. Wealth is generated by your mindset. Money will come and go. Happy birthday, said Tiny Dancer. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Ripple Prime receives investment grade BB rating from Kroll. That's right. 100%. Cannot wait for sure. Let's run it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I can't wait to pick your brain on some things. I was looking at some of your content, like the cloud mining content and stuff like that, because one of the things I've been really interested in, 2-bit, is making money with my crypto. We're getting a lot more decentralized and DeFi options, but we just learned how risky that can be depending on where you go with it. So one of the things I've actually been looking at is building an app on the Canton Network that I think would be really interested in. That I'm really interested in. I think it'd be really interesting to tie it into the stream, so that way people can both participate in Canton Network, watch the stream, tie them together, and they can earn actual free crypto. Because the way the network works is that by generating traffic and by generating utility, the app will earn crypto. The app will earn Canton, and as the app owner, I can hand that out as rewards to the people using it. So I can just pass it through to the viewers, to the people using it. And that way, the more we build up the app, the more crypto people earn on the app from the community. I think it's amazing. Happy birthday, Scott, and many more. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes, 42 today. Made it to 42. When I was 38 and I had the strokes, because I had 3 strokes when I was 38 years old. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it to 42. So I'm happy to be here. It's just mind-blowing that Canton is getting countless huge institutions too, which I thought were supposed to be actual use case, yet not much is being used. Again, they're all just coming on and they're all still doing their private testing. That's why Canton has the private subnets. Remember, if something seems too good to be true, it usually is, okay? But the burn rate will increase as utility increases. Again, it just has to be on the mainnet, and it has to be done with USD. And again, they are changing some of those rules as well that they are discussing. So that's why we have to pay attention. And don't forget, we talked about yesterday too, the DTCC is starting their pilot on the Canton Network this quarter. And I'm fairly certain it started yesterday. They didn't directly say it, but when we pulled up the article, they talked about launching their rapid issuance due to digitization and all that stuff. And they're not working with any other blockchain right now for a pilot on quote unquote digitizing the back end of their markets. So it looks like that pilot has started for the Canton Network with the DTCC effective yesterday. I don't think clarity will be the flip the switch, but it'll help. Agreed. It'll certainly help. Because again, right now, everything that's been done via the SEC, via the OCC, the CFTC, whatever, anything that's been done to this point can be just as easily undone with a new administration and new leadership, because nothing is signed into law yet, right? So that's why we need to have clarity, because we don't want the Elizabeth Warrens of the world writing the crypto rules in a few years. That's the last thing we want. Operation Buzz. XRP is currency, a store of value, a bridge asset, and payment settlement. More than enough use cases and volume potential to reach 4 to 5 digit price level. It is possible. And again, that's why I own it. I try to keep a realistic look at all sides. Whenever I look at how a token can succeed, I also take the same equal look at how it could fail, right? So anytime I take a look at how a token can succeed, you have to give an equal look at how it can fail. That's just my personal opinion. Looking forward to seeing Longview and 2-bit crypto collab. Me too, if I could learn how to talk, right? I think it'll be a good collab. I'm excited for it. And honestly, looking at his stream and listening to how he talks to people, I think we're going to have some excellent crypto conversations. And just, I really think it just makes it so much easier when you have other people to talk to. Really, the majority of my streams and the favorite part of my streams is going through the chat and talking to you all and engaging with you guys. You all, that sounds too close to you all. But for me, that is, to me, like, it's all about the community. This is the funnest part, is just having the crypto conversations. I feel like so many people don't have friends they can talk to about crypto because we are such a niche group, right? So few people are involved in crypto. Less than 1% of people even know what it is. A majority of those people are Bitcoiners, you know? So the fact that, like, just being able to talk to other people and be a part of the conversation, I think, is what a lot of people are craving. Daz Salford, that's a new name. Thank you for joining from the UK, stacking XRP, HBAR, and Zebek. Okay. I don't have Zebek, but I do think it's a great project. I haven't bought any yet. You skip, bro. Anyway, happy birthday, dog. What did I skip? You skip. Oh, I skipped this one. Google said that BTC and Solana weren't quantum safe, but XRP is. I didn't mean, sometimes I get going too fast, Damien. I apologize. But yeah, no, BTC is definitely not quantum safe. I heard quantum can hack Bitcoin in like 9 minutes. Solana wasn't quantum safe. XRP is I believe they launched their quantum protection on testnet. I don't think they're fully quantum safe yet. But they're very, very, very close. Cordell Lewis, brothers surviving strokes is a miracle from God. You are blessed. I am very, very blessed. So in August of 2022, in my sleep, I had 2 strokes. I woke up to my alarm for work, went to get out of bed. My legs didn't work. I fell over, smacked my head on the nightstand because my arm didn't work for me to catch myself. Ended up crawling to the car at the time, my wife, now ex-wife, took me to the hospital and found out I had 2 strokes, and that previously I had another stroke at some point previously, just didn't know about it. It was a little mini stroke. But I had that I apparently white knuckled through. And then I went back to work after 4 months. I managed to get my way back to work. Dealing with headaches, migraines, mental fatigue. I got like 95% of all the physical stuff back. But I deal with a lot of short-term memory loss and migraines and stuff like that. So then I went back to work, and I worked again for about 3 years and found out that when I'm under too much stress, I start getting microbleeds in my brain. So I had to stop working, and I went on disability, and I couldn't sit still. So I found this to do, because this way I can stop whenever I need to take a break. I only have to go for an hour at a time. Sometimes when you guys see me talking, you'll notice that the left side of my mouth moves differently than the right side of my mouth. Like, those are stroke residuals. One eye sits different than another. If you look closely, you can see them. And when I have a migraine, they get even worse. Long time XRP holder here too, since 2020. Been turning more to CC. I see a $1 CC before a $5 XRP. Call me crazy, but these guys going for $100 XRP are going to be mad upset. I don't try to give price predictions, but when you look at the clear tokenomics, you can see a more direct path for CC than you can for XRP. If I'm being honest, because you can't determine a clear path of how XRP is going to appreciate without massive speculation. There's actually mathematics behind the tokenomics for CC. And again, they're not competing layers, but as a retail investor, everything competes in the sense I want to make money. These are both projects I believe in, and I hold both equally. I'm not trying to bet everything on one horse. SVJ says, I've tried talking to family about crypto, but they rather talk about sports, movies, or whatever the news shows. They don't seem to care about crypto. Exactly. It reminds me vividly, and I think, I am honestly might have some generational trauma or triggering or something, because everything at crypto reminds me of me when I was a kid with the internet, because I was so gung-ho on the internet. I was the kid who was at 13 years old in 1997 building a computer in his damn basement so he could play EverQuest with his friends. Like, I was so early to the internet and behind everything going on with the internet that I was the ultimate geek. I was the ultimate nerd. And no one wanted to talk about it, no one wanted to listen about it. And I ended up going into the military instead of going into the work on the internet. And damn, that was a mistake. Because I would have been probably a lot more involved with blockchain earlier had I been more in that business. Is CC quantum safe? I believe so, but I'm not 100% positive. I've already thought about that because I'm doing research on quantum right now. I'm working on an entire quantum stream. So I'm working on that right now for you guys. Dazzle Ford said, yes, agree. I can't talk to anybody about crypto. Nobody I know is into it. If I mention it at work, mates, they look at me like I have two heads. Right. And that's it, is that like crypto needs a community where people can just talk and get ideas and not be, chopped off at the head for bag bias or this, that, and the other. We're all here. Like, granted, I'm researching and studying this stuff every day. I mess up all the time and get some data wrong. I'll be the first. That's why I tell everyone to do your own research. And I love it when people, I answer the comments. When people call me out, I tell them if they're right and I'm wrong, right? This is a community. This isn't a one person saying I'm right all the time. I tell you guys what I do and what I've learned, but yeah. SBJ 1025, Cordell says, she saved your life. You should get back with her. No. No. There is a very working theory that she may have caused the strokes. I don't believe that, but my neurologist thinks it's related. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, she did take me to the hospital. But she also left me in the hospital and divorced me 30 days later. So I'm not going back there. Bro, you look good for your age and all you've been through. Keep the fight. I appreciate that. I did not look this good 4 years ago. I was very out of shape. I was very heavy. I was very beat down. I hardly ever smiled. I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now. When you almost die though, it does kick you into gear to start taking your health seriously. So I started eating better, started working out. I started rowing every day. I need to get back at rowing again. I've been slacking on my rowing machine, but I need to start working out again. I gained about 20 pounds back, so I need to lose that again. Also, wishing you good health, bro. Where are you from? Just subbed to you about a week ago. You're already one of my top go-to channels. I appreciate that, Mike. I'm from the Kansas City area. Go Chiefs. You can see all the Chiefs stuff in the background. I am Kansas City native. I grew up here. I moved away for the military. But I've been all over the country. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I grew up in the Kansas City area. I was stationed in Texas and Mississippi when I was in the Air Force. I lived in Oklahoma for a little bit. And then I also worked in freight. I was a freight broker. So I worked with truckers every single day, all day. And I know pretty much every city in the United States. So that's why I always ask people, where are you from? Because my United States geography is excellent. I know pretty much where everything is just about. Large banks and institutions in a panic to get their own stablecoins. In my opinion, primary signal that stablecoins have transitioned from crypto niche to mainstream financial infrastructure. Absolutely. And not just their own stablecoins, but like their own settlement tokens, like their own settlement coins. They're not necessarily dollar-backed stablecoins. They're doing bank deposits or tokenized bank deposits that, like, for instance, like JPM coin, right? That's a tokenized bank deposit of JP Morgan. So they can still do their fractal lending under the current metrics, under the current bank metrics with tokenized deposits, whereas stablecoins still have to have the one-to-one backing with US treasuries. So believe it or not, other than the FDIC insurance that you get from banks, stablecoins are actually more secure and backed than the money in your bank account. Try that on for size. Other than the FDIC insurance, a stablecoin is better backed than a US dollar in a bank account. Try that one on for size. Gunpowder says XRP is gonna be that bridge. Yes, they need things to bridge between though. If we're just transferring USD to USD, there's no need for a bridge. If we're just transferring, USD to a tokenized bank deposit in USD, there's no need for a bridge. Now, if we start, doing US treasuries for RL yen, now we need a bridge, and that's where XRP starts getting used. The Shrimpo, that's a new one. Where are you from, the Shrimpo? I see, you will see XRP and Ripple will shock. I heard your FUD the other day. You obviously misheard some of my FUD. My only FUD with XRP is that I don't think it's going to $100 like this, and I don't think it's going to happen with the domino theory. I was just disproving the domino theory. I'm an XRP holder and hold it for the long view. I just don't think it's going to appreciate the way everyone was sold. That's all. So you can call that XRP FUD. I call it XRP realism. But it's just my belief and opinion. But I still do believe in XRP for the long view and hold a substantial amount of XRP, an equal amount to my Canton. Dazzle4 subbed. I appreciate that, guys. Yes, and if you guys are new to the stream, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell in case YouTube doesn't tell people. Because apparently if you don't get the notifications, you're not going to know I'm going live. They don't tell you just because you're subbed, apparently, which I think is silly. But I do stream every single day, Monday through Saturday at noon. I went a little bit late today because I had to take my daughter to an appointment, but that's it. Cordell Lewis says she caused the stroke on purpose to bring you guys closer together. I don't think so. Yeah, because as soon as it was clear that I might not be able to work again, whatever. I ain't going to go there. It ended up being for the best. Nonetheless, it was a toxic relationship. I'm happier now. She's happier now. My girlfriend is freaking amazing. I could not ask for a better woman in my life now. I am very, very happy. Fishin' Man 6559 also happy birthday, man. I appreciate that. Well, I mean, we're over. Well, we're not over now. We got 7 minutes still until I wrap it up here. You guys got any last minute questions, comments, thoughts before we get out of here today? We got about 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes, 6-7, as the kids say. And be sure to hit the like button to help grow the stream. It's amazing, actually, you guys. Over the last couple weeks, the stream has gone from averaging like 700 views per stream to averaging about 1,500 views per stream. So because of you guys and your engagement, I did. See, some of these come up later. I'm sorry, Fisherman. I don't try to. Some of them pop up later. I saw this one. Where'd it go? I didn't see that one. Let me try this again. I see. Maybe you missed the comment. Coinbase gained conditional approval from the US OCC for a national trust bank charter today. If you can't beat them, join them. Last domino before clarity. Oh, Coinbase got conditional approval? I don't think that's the last domino because, I mean, Ripple got their conditional approval a while ago and it didn't do anything, right? So, I mean, yeah, Ripple got theirs a while ago and it didn't do anything. So I don't think the conditional approval is going to do anything really. And as far as Coinbase, oh, wait, you're probably talking about Coinbase becoming a bank because of the whole stablecoin yield thing and everything. That makes more sense. Yeah. They're like, okay, and now they've apparently come to a deal and they officially get approved for their OC, their national trust. So that makes sense. Government's going to give them their bank charter and they're going to sign off on the stablecoin issues so that way they can still get their money. Makes sense. Sleight of hand, change pockets. I expect nothing less from Brian Armstrong. I'm so glad that a lot of people started to see the truth behind Brian Armstrong over the last couple months, because I was looked at as public enemy number one because I didn't like the guy and I didn't like Coinbase, and everyone's like, oh, he's standing up for crypto. I'm like, I don't think so. He's standing up for his bottom line, and that's about it. He don't give a shit about us. I'm glad I got to it, Fisherman. I did not skip it deliberately. I promise you that. Dazzles Forces, thank you for the stream. You're welcome as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for engaging. And thank you all for helping to grow the stream. Highly blessed birthday, Scott. I appreciate that. Billy, yeah, Jersey Shore here. Let me know if you want to come with your girlfriend one weekend this summer. Could use a good crypto bro to bullshit with. Well, my father actually lives on the Jersey Shore. What part? I used to go to Wildwood all the time. My father moved from Philadelphia to the Jersey Shore. He's about to move back to the city now. But I loved Wildwood. I loved the boardwalk. I loved Max Pizza on the boardwalk. Oh my goodness. I rode the Sky Coaster down at Wildwood last time I was there. I can talk Jersey Shore with you. Let's go. I love the beach. I won't get in the water on the Jersey Shore. I went in the water one time and stepped on a piece of glass. I will never go in that water again. But I love going in the water down in the Gulf of Mexico and Florida. I'm such an ocean bum, dude. I love the beach. Still don't understand how XRP, the coin, will be used other than a gas token. It's designed to be a bridge asset. It's a liquidity bridge asset. So, for instance, I don't have my whiteboard down here. My girlfriend's daughter stole it to color on. But so if you have USD over here, where's the camera? Okay. Here we go. If you have USD over here, right? There we go. USD over here and yen over here. You can't just send a USD transfer and receive it in yen. You have to do a conversion, right? Because they're not a one-to-one switch. So they have to have some kind of liquidity bridge that they could sell into and then buy out of. That is what XRP is supposed to be. It was designed to be a liquidity bridge specifically for cross-border payments. And that liquidity is supposed to be gained from the value of what is on ledger, the utility, what's being transferred back and forth. So that way someone can send, $1 million and switch it out for 5 million yen, right? They don't have to transfer it into 1 million XRP. If it was $100 XRP, then that would be what? That'd be 10,000 XRP, and then transfer it over and convert that to whatever yen. It makes it as an automatic, seamless liquidity bridge to basically store value and switch between currencies or switch between different tokenized assets. So the more tokenization comes on chain, and remember, stable coins fall under tokenization. They're tokenized treasuries. That's all it is. It's a tokenized dollar. It's a tokenized treasury. So the more assets that get tokenized on the actual blockchain, the more value there is to bridge between. Therefore, the more value XRP would have to hold. Dazzle versus hope I can catch the live. Again, big time difference in the UK, currently 7:26 p.m. Well, I do stream, like I said, at noon every Monday through Saturday. And I actually do a members only live stream hangout on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central. And I'm looking at switching up my Saturday stream or doing one other stream, maybe one day of the week instead of doing noon, doing it earlier or later so I can get more of my overseas folks. And more people who maybe work at noon during the day, right? There's a lot of people who work. So I'm looking at trying to come up with at least one day a week where I do an alternate time to give more people access to the live show. Oh, you're from Wildwood Crest. Okay. All right. So you know exactly what I'm talking about then, Motor Mike. I got you. I'll tell you what, if I was actually talking about going to visit my dad this summer in June, and Wildwood, I can't remember exactly what town my dad lives in off the top of my head right now, but Wildwood's 10 minutes away. I know that. So if I'm out there, we'll have to. I don't drink, but we can smoke. We can smoke a bowl together. And yes, I smoke. I don't think there's anything wrong with cannabis. It's legal. I think there's no different than alcohol. I use it recreationally, just like I would drink, just like I would have a drink. I don't drink at all. So yes, but how does the coin itself benefit to increase in price value, even as a bridge asset? From supply and demand. That's from supply and demand, from people holding it, from scarcity. Scarcity creates value. In order for it to be used, it has to be held in liquidity corridors. It has to be held by banks. It's being held in ETFs. It's being held by retailers. So really, it's tied to the value and utility of the ledger. Philly, 7th Street, 4th and Oriana. Irish Town, baby. I used to walk up to 2 Street Pizza all the time. But yeah, my family's home in Philadelphia when we were there was at 4th Street and Oriana in South Philly. I know exactly where 7th and Jackson is. I actually worked at Jetro Cash and Holding across from the Link when I was living in Philadelphia. Canton will 100% hit $1 in 2026. I agree with you, the White Shadow. I agree with you. Ripple Treasury has the secret sauce for XRP. I saw that post from Brad Garlinghouse. It's the secret sauce. Yeah, no, I'm excited for what crypto is going to be over the next 5 years. I mean, I don't care what your token is. I hope you all make money. I really do. I'm in this to make money, and I'm in this for all of us to make money. But man, the next 5 years are going to be crazy in this crypto space. I really think the average person does not know what's coming. Really, truthfully. My email's listed on the channel. If you go to the channel and click the more tab for whatever, my email's in there. It's longviewcompute at Yahoo. You can also follow me on X at longviewcrypto. You can reach out to me there as well. Don't forget about tokenization for XRP, other use case. Absolutely. Tokenization impacts XRP as well. Tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. That's why I love both of them and how both of them, meaning XRP and Canton Network, in regards to tokenization, in regards to institutional adoption, in regards to how it looks like the tokenization of the financial markets and cross-border payments are moving forward. I'm also invested heavily in HBAR. I think that's going to be more logistical. And then I also like Chainlink for the Oracle layers. And then Ondo, which I stopped buying Ondo because I want to, again, like what you're talking about with XRP, how's Ondo, the token, going to appreciate in price? I bought the infrastructure. Now I'm ready to see the tokenization increase in price for the native token. And I feel like when crypto first started getting going, that was the narrative. The more the blockchain is adopted, the more it's used, the token will go up in value. Well, we're seeing a lot of adoption and a lot of use. Now, granted, we're still just dipping a toenail into it. But that's the main question that people are having now. What about my token? Okay, we're getting great news. What about my token? And it's a fair question at this point as a retail investor. I don't think that's an unfair question to ask. If you've been holding XRP for 5 years, I think you have every single right to say, how the hell is this thing going to appreciate in price? Show me. Point to something and tell me. I think that's a fair argument. And I think some of these blockchains need to be able to answer that. I mean, retail front ran all of crypto. There is no arguing that. Banks calling it scam, calling it pet rock. Okay, well, retail front ran all of crypto. We got all these chains up and running with our money by us buying the token, right? That's how these got built. Well, now they're tokenizing. Now they're doing all these things, but it's not doing shit for the native token. Again, follow the money. The blockchain doesn't care about you. You think Brad Garlinghouse cares about me? I don't think he does. I don't think he cares about me, you, or the next guy. He cares about Ripple, and he cares about what's best for Ripple. Again, we have to talk about aligned incentives. Now, what's best for Ripple is what's best for us, I think, right? Because if XRP appreciates, Ripple does well. Again, aligned incentives. Follow the money. Golden rule. We talk about these things. A lot of people don't like them, but it is what it is. I just like the stuff that surrounds crypto, conspiracy theories, the highs, the lows, and above all, the cool people. The community. The crypto community. That's right. I love it. Well, it was a great Thursday, guys. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out to help grow the stream. If you're new to the stream, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so it does tell you when I do go live, because I do pop-up streams from time to time. And I'll be sure to let you guys know when me and 2Bit Crypto get something going. I don't know if we're going to do his stream first or my stream first or what, but we'll be on both channels, I'm sure. He popped in for the stream a little bit today to make an appearance. So I appreciate you all. I'll see you tomorrow at noon.